The market was an absolute bloodbath today, and I'll tell you this, Tom, this recent price action has made for a ton of opportunity, and I know a bunch of people in the Stocked Up community have been loving this short-term price action. I'm a huge fan as well, and I hope you guys are ready to make some money because we have some great setups forming in the market over the next couple of days and weeks. And if the market keeps dumping like it is, it'll maybe even present a huge opportunity to buy the dip for some long-term stocks as well. But for today's video, we have some important things to cover that is happening in the market right now, and we have some great setups for tomorrow. So you guys better stick with us. We have a lot going on in the market right now. But with that being said, Tom, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, we've been talking about the market to the downside for a while, and the SPY fell under 444 this week, and ever since we saw that big breakdown, it's just been continuous selling pressure throughout the days, and today was great. We followed on the trend line that we've been following on the past couple weeks, kept holding there, and had like a perfect bounce midday before making new lows of the week all the way down here around 436. That is a pretty big drop here on the SPY, considering, just Monday morning, we were all the way up around like 448. Like, that's just insane to say that we're all the way down here now. We've definitely been taking the elevator down a little bit more, and it's been honestly pretty fun to see, Mike. There's been so many great opportunities, whether it's puts on stocks like Meta, Apple, even Tesla. Like, you're just seeing huge pullbacks out of even some of the favorites out there. So it's fun to see. And then we're even seeing upsides out of some other stocks like Exxon and CVX and some of those other energy plays out there.
Alrighty, there we go. So one thing that's definitely worth noting is when you look at some of these powerhouse stocks, whether it be Apple or Tesla or anything like that, they are seeing drops that they have not seen in a while, and you just can't ignore them, because when you see like a powerhouse like Apple falling like it is, it drags the entire market down with it. So, obviously it's not great news. And on top of, powerhouse stocks falling, we don't have necessarily good news going on in the economy right now either. We just got some data recently with bankruptcies, and we can see that so far this year, keep in mind, we are only like halfway through August. And so far this year, there have been 402 U.S. bankruptcy filings. When you compare that with the 2022 data of 373, it's a lot higher, and we're still only in August. What's even more concerning is when you look down just a little bit, we can see the month of July had a pretty big uptick in U.S. bankruptcy filings, and it's just not a good sign. This is the second highest reading of monthly U.S. bankruptcy filings since the pandemic. So obviously not good when you have the market falling like it is, you have powerhouse stocks falling like they are, and you have bankruptcies ticking up like this. It is concerning.
Those bankruptcies are wild, Mike. Imagine by the end of the year, we might actually see, obviously a bigger increase as well. We might even get like as high as 2020 if the market really does end up getting pretty rough. It's almost like dead even with it right now on that chart. So it's definitely a concerning thing. And I know that the bankruptcies have been kind of going up all year. Even early in the year, they were flying to the upside, and that was actually happening while a lot of these stocks were moving up, like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and stocks like that. But now I think things are starting to catch up a little bit, and I think the Fed's talking about like inflation going up and maybe having to raise interest rates more is just adding like more fuel to the fire. So I love that data with the bankruptcies, Mike. As we know, they play such a big role in like what the Feds look at and everything like that, because they've been trying to tighten the economy, and maybe they'll eventually come out and say, well, hey, we're seeing all these bankruptcies, maybe we won't tighten as much anymore, and we'll start to loosen our restrictions.
Exactly. When you talk about Fed policy, you can't not talk about interest rates. Mortgage rates just topped 7%, and they hit a brand new 21-year high, baby. So hooray, right? Let's go. But not quite. It's obviously not good at all. It puts a lot of pressure on the real estate market, and I hope no one is looking to buy a house anytime soon, because when you have mortgage rates that just went from 2.5% to 7% and are currently on pace to hit 8%. It's not something you want to see at all. But either way, mortgage rates are flying high. That will not be good for the real estate market at all. And, to put it into perspective, the last time we've seen mortgage rates this high was in April of 2002.
Yeah, that is wild. I mean, I can't believe that we're already this high again. And like you said, a lot of projections have it 8%, even higher in the future. So I'm really hoping that the Fed at least start to drop their rates, and then maybe that'll start to drop the overall rates, like mortgages and other ones. Maybe the yields will start coming down a little bit as well. But for right now, it is starting to be a pretty crazy time, and we're getting into winter again. I know this summer, the housing market was kind of ticking up a little bit again. I know it was getting a little bit rough there, but I'm curious if these high rates combined with going into this slower time, being cold and everything like that, it's going to possibly just get worse and worse. So I'm hoping not, but man, with the bankruptcy news and these mortgages, Mike, we sound like the biggest bears in the world right now. But just keep in mind, guys, that this will create such good long-term opportunities. And I'm not selling my long-term stocks because of this. I'm still holding those, but obviously I'm making trades out there too.
Exactly. Bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. That's the saying. But what's worth noting is that, while we have all this bad news, I'm not the market's going to, go to zero or anything stupid like that. It's just we've been in a pretty big run up lately. There's some bad news. Powerhouse stocks are falling over. We're coming into historically some of the worst months of the year. And it's bears have been in control. So it's I'm definitely going to capitalize off that in multiple different ways. And I know myself and a bunch of other people have been loving this recent price action. And another thing worth noting is when we look at the VIX seasonality, that's also showing another giant warning sign. So basically, for those of you who don't know, the VIX index basically shoots up when people are panicking and the market's tanking. The VIX index, what we could see on that chart in red, shows the current year's performance. What we could see in the dark gray lines show the historical averages for VIX given the time of year. So we could see, historically speaking, when we get into August and September and October, VIX tends to shoot up a lot. And guess what happens when VIX shoots up? The market sinks quicker than you could honestly probably even picture. And honestly, it's not even that good of it's not, you shouldn't be celebrating the market tanking, but it's worth noting going into this part of the year, normally we see the VIX pop up and the market tanks. So, looking at the market right now, you just have to keep that in mind over the next couple weeks and months.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, look at the VIX here, guys. During times of bad economic situations and times where the market crashes, in 2020, look at how VIX was flying up. I mean, it ran from 13 all the way up to 84 and then back down. Now, am I saying that that's going to happen again? No, but it does go on big runs. And with it being so low right now and us getting into those months that are historically the worst for the market, it makes a lot of sense that we might continue up here. But then get this, October is actually one of the best markets or one of the best months in the market. So then it might change. And, that's where you have to be adaptable, and we might adapt a couple months down the line. But for the next couple months, it's looking rough historically, Mike. And we have a bunch of bad things obviously the bankruptcies and the rates possibly being raised more and stuff like that with talks going on. So I'm curious. It's going to be a crazy end of the year. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about VIX, if it'll pop up. And one thing that'll move with VIX is UVXY. If you time this one right, it could end up going up quite a bit for you. But keep in mind, it does go down for the majority of its time as it's a leveraged ETF.
Exactly. So if you are looking to take advantage of bearish movement, you have ETFs like UVXY, SPXS, SQQQ, and stocks and ETFs like that. They do pop up when people are panicking. Do not hold these over long periods of time though. But Tom, being realistic, the way I'm seeing the market right now is, like I said a couple minutes ago, it's not I'm this ultra bear where, all right, the market's gonna go to zero. But at the same time, it's you can't disagree with the fact that the market has had a giant run up over the past couple months, and we are we see some of these big tech stocks that basically control the market pretty overvalued on multiple different metrics, you can say. And on top of that, we just had, just the other week, the bad news from Fitch in the, downgrading U.S. credit. We have potential big bank downgrades coming soon too. Bankruptcies are ticking higher. Inflation is, unfortunately on the uptrend. We're coming into the worst 2 months of the year, historically speaking, and we are already seeing stocks fall. And especially the big tech stocks like Apple, Tesla, AMD, stuff like that, obviously makes it very hard for the market to rise. So, I've been pretty bearish for the past couple of weeks, and I know that a lot of people have followed me with that and made some pretty good money, and I'm still relatively bearish going forward, but, we'll take each day how it comes.
Exactly. That's a big point. Take each day as it comes, because even on downtrends, there's still like some green days mixed in. Like if we actually go out to the SPY on like a daily chart, we actually, hang on, I got to get to the front. We see kind of here over the past downtrend, like sure, like we just had 3 straight red days in a row, but we actually had 2 green days on Friday, August 11th, and then this Monday, the 14th, was actually green as well. And then we turned over a little bit more to end the week. So there will still be a couple of those green days mixed in. And it's kind of funny, Mike, because sometimes we'll get a comment and, the market might go up the very next day and people will be like, oh, you said the market was falling. Haha, you were wrong. But at the same time, like just give it a little bit of time. Like I think there will be some dead cat bounces mixed in here on this downtrend.
Absolutely. I mean, when during times of panic and sell-offs, that's actually when you see the biggest green days. Like I always like to reference the COVID crash in 2020, but when you look at those candles, those are where the biggest green candles are, and then also the biggest red candles too. But it's the main thing to realize is the market's changing, and I've been saying this in every single video, is that the market we have right now is not the market we had a month ago or 5 months ago or in the beginning of the year. We are seeing volatility increase, and when volatility increases, you see bigger red days and bigger green days, and also just wilder moves intraday. And those wilder moves and those increases in volatility is ultimately the biggest opportunity for short-term traders, because when you look at SPY intraday today or Tesla or anything else, when the market's just slowly inching higher, moving up by 0.002% each day, it's hard to have good moves if you're a short-term trader off that. But when you see big moves like we're seeing, that is the best gift a short-term trader can have.
Yeah, especially in the options market, right? Especially when you can take advantage of those premiums. And man, some of those put premiums have been flying to the upside. Like Mike, I have seen thousands of % gainers on many stocks lately, just because, the market was getting so high. Everyone was like, oh, we're never going down. But when it starts happening, those premiums start flying back up on the puts. Well, then, hey, you can start making quite a bit on it. So it's been good, Mike. Like you said, we've been kind of saying this for the past few weeks now, and I hope that a lot of people have been following along and making some good money on it, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. And I know that like from what we've seen in the profits channel and stuff, it's been looking pretty good. I know SQQQ has been doing pretty good, flying to the upside for us, UVXY, other stocks like that. But at the same time, even some of these put plays have been fantastic, like Meta and others.
Exactly. So one stock I'm watching very closely for tomorrow is Netflix. And you guys know I've been talking about this stock all week long, but it has just been a money printer. So, the setup's still there. So either way, I am watching Netflix to the downside. It fell off a decent amount today. It is still above the $400 support level. I do expect a little bit of, I guess what we'll call turbulence around that level. But if it breaks that support, it definitely has more room down.
Yeah, that $400 level is going to be huge for Netflix. I mean, we've been looking at this for a few days now, and Mike, you've been hitting it on the head every day, and I'll give it to you. It's been doing amazing down to 400. So let's go. If you guys made some profits off that, let us know in the comments below. But going into my play for tomorrow, I'm looking at JP Morgan. They actually fell below the 150 support today, got down to 148.50. If they get under 148 tomorrow, I'm going to be looking at more puts to the downside. These banks are also kind of overextended up in the short term, and I could see some pullbacks. It may be down to 145 on JP Morgan.
All right, good stuff. I'm also watching those banks to the downside too, so I like to set up. Another stock I'm watching is UVXY. Again, play from yesterday's video, but it's been printing, so I'm going to keep hitting it. Looking at UVXY, it's on the uptrend pretty quickly. As long as this market price action and momentum exists, UVXY has a lot of upside potential. So if the market is somewhat bearish tomorrow, I think UVXY can be a great play. Don't just like randomly buy this just because it's going up. Of course, we want to see that like fear and selling pressure and just, negativity in the markets for this play to ultimately work.
Yeah, it's been awesome this week. UVXY, SQQQ, SPXS. I feel like we've said it so many times in the videos this week, Mike. People are probably going to get sick of it. They're going to be like, quit saying those stocks, but they are really printing right now. Like UVXY has been amazing, and even the other ones that go against the indexes have been fantastic. So let's go there. With my next play, it's another one that we've been talking about the past few days, and again, it's been printing, so I have to keep talking about it, is Boeing. They actually fell under that 230 support today, and we've been eyeing that up on Bookmap for a few days now. You can see that early on today there were more buyers that came in there, but when the market opened, they disappeared, and we ended up falling down in a pretty big way. So I was glad to see Boeing just continuing to fall throughout the day. That was a good area to break below, and going back to the chart, whenever you just zoom out, that 230 area was so crucial there. Now we're starting to kind of get back into that gap fill mode. So I'm thinking that we could fill the gap back down to around 222. So I know it's not the biggest move for tomorrow, but a couple points, that'll be great for the options.
There we go. All right, Tom. Well, it's now time to jump right into those momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Tessie to the downside. And some people are going to get triggered by this one.
Oh, yeah. So they're sitting right on this like 218 support right now. If they actually break under like 217 tomorrow, go ahead and look at them to the downside. Maybe watch the 215 support under that, but 217 should be pretty good for that early morning momentum.
All right, with the next one, Tom, I'm sorry. It's still your play, but JP Morgan to the downside.
Yeah, JPM. Hey, it's always good to get some good levels for it. So just watch 148 even, just under that low from today. And if we kind of go back on like an hourly chart with JP Morgan, you can see how 148 was a fairly big area of contention. So if we do get under here, it could be a pretty good drop.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Wally World, Walmart, but for both directions.
Yeah, this one was surprising today. So they had earnings and they're kind of falling down. And for Walmart, that's a little bit strange. But go ahead and try to make them break below 155. If they break under that nice even level there, then go ahead and look at some puts. Now, if they break back above 150. I would say 158.50. I was looking at 158, but there is some still resistance overhead there. 158.50, then look at calls of the upside. But I will say, with the earnings going bad, it might be a good continuation down.
Sounds good. So we have that upside level for calls on Walmart. Don't forget about the downside level for puts as well. And then, of course, don't forget about JP Morgan and Tesla with their downside levels for puts as well. But Tom, it is now time for the big money $1 million trade of the day, and we are looking at XHB. So this is going to get a little bit complicated, but don't worry, I'm going to handle it in a nice and easy and simple way. Basically, what we have going on here is someone plowed $1 million of put options into XHB. XHB is an ETF that basically holds like a bunch of home builder, like home construction companies all into one stock. And basically what happened is someone bought the 73 strike put options for XHB and they shorted the 65 strike put options for XHB. They both expire on December 15th of 2023, and they're just betting that this stock will go down. This is a put debit spread. The main thing to know is that the lower this stock falls, the more millions that this trader will make. In a perfect world, XHB will be at or below $65 by December 15th of 2023. But the reason that I actually really like this setup is for a couple reasons. But the first one being, we have mortgage rates rising a lot lately, right? They're actually at their highest levels in over 20 years. Guess what happens when mortgage rates rise this quickly and they go this high? home prices fall because it makes, the houses more expensive. Another thing that we have going on is stocks overall in the market falling. That just makes it easier for XHB stock to fall. On top of that, we have, a relatively bearish technical setup with XHB, Tom. We can see we have lower highs forming right now too. So those are like the three main reasons. And I just think the overall risk reward setup on XHB going forward is really good. And if I'm being completely honest, this actually might be one of my favorite big money setups that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, mine too. Now, I will say for a lot of traders, I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to enter this because of how bearish XHB was today. It ran from like 82 down to under $80. That was a brutal red candle. A lot of people are probably asking, well, hey, doesn't this mean that we missed it already? The move already happened, right? Well, if you actually zoom out, we go back to the last time XHB started falling down like this in 2022, you can tell there were a lot of big red candles there mixed in, but there was nice continuations as the weeks went forward. So I'll definitely be watching this one, Mike. Like you said, one of my favorites right now. And I think that even like commodities going up in price is going to make this drop too. Like there's so many economic factors going against them right now that it makes a lot of sense that on this big money play.
Yeah, so housing affordability is at like record levels right now. I know Warren Buffett has been actually somewhat bullish on home builder stocks lately, which, he has a different strategy than most people, obviously. He's playing this game, for when he buys into stocks, they're like longer term investments. So it's like kind of like, not apples to apples in that sense, short-term versus long-term outlooks. But either way, I will definitely have a very close eye on XHB to the downside going forward. But Tom, it is now time for our member of the day. And today's member of the day is SniperBot. So SniperBot had an amazing call out in the day trading channel today. Basically, it called out the Apple 175 strike put options at $83. By the end of the day, these same put options were trading for $183. So it was a great run up in that sense. I know a lot of people did very, very well with this. And, if you guys are looking to, capitalize off of this short-term movement, you have to check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You get full access to SniperBot, but then you also get access to its brother, HybridBot, and its other brother, SMBot, and a bunch of other bots. You get access to the whole family and basically every single tool that you can need for short-term trading. On top of that, unfortunately, Tom and myself don't really have lives. We just spend our entire life in this Discord. So, if you ever need help or you just want to talk about stocks, we are in here basically 24/7. So if you guys want to join the community, check it out. It's that first link in the description and the comments down below. You can cancel it at any time, and it's definitely the place to be. So definitely check it out. But Tom, I know I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, but I'm just really, really loving this recent price action. It's something we haven't seen in a while. It's something that really benefits short-term traders, and I'm very excited.
Me too. It's been awesome. If you guys have been loving it, let us know in the comments down below. Let's kill it tomorrow. It's the last day of the week. It's going to be like the cherry on top if we have a good day tomorrow, Mike. Hopefully we get that nice continuation to the downside, but even if not, I'll still be looking at other plays out there. So join up on the Discord. We'll be in there all morning. And also check out the Stocked Up Live YouTube channel as well. I go live every single morning. It's a separate channel from the normal one, so go check it out. Stocked Up Live. I'll throw that in the comments too.
Sounds great. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's have an amazing end to the week.